Joan Pradels at 146 kilos. But there's always a catch, we'll see it in today's video. Many people are watching and already claiming we found the next winner, the next top Olympia contender, the next Mr. Olympia. I say, calm down, I'll analyze it. Pablo Llopis at 130 kilograms. Which of the two Spanish bodybuilders will get their ticket to the Olympia first? Who will it be? Today's video will focus on those two. I know many of you think Jose Miguel, who competes in Open, will get it first. Yes, that could be, but I want to focus on them because they're in the Open division. I know Calderon sometimes competes in Open, and Joaquin Galan and several others are also out there. Well, Joan has posted this physique update where he weighs 146 kilos, which if I'm not mistaken is the heaviest he's ever been. But of course there's a little trick here. First of all, I think it's not on an empty stomach. Still, that's a lot of weight. I think in this video he's pumped up after working out, I'm, well, almost sure. And he looks really big, but here I want to mention a few things. He looks really big, yes, he's weighing a lot, yes, but we can't ignore the fact that he's really soft. Often when bodybuilders are in the off-season or bulking, they keep their body fat under better control. In Joan's case, we can see a lot of skin folds, and we can see the cuts in his legs are totally blurred. His glutes aren't defined at all, nor are his hamstrings. What I mean by this is that a lot of the weight we're seeing on screen is probably going to be fat and water. Let's not forget that this gentleman competes at 115 kilos, sometimes getting close to 120, which for an Open competitor of his height isn't that much weight. And now he would be weighing about 25 to 30 kilos more than the last time he competed. As you can understand, he hasn't gained 25 to 30 kilos of muscle in just a few months. And this is what I'm getting at. There's definitely been a muscular improvement, no doubt. Several months of hard work, effort, diet, rest and supplementation. He must have gained some muscle, no doubt about it. But how much of that is fat, water, inflammation? What I'm getting at is, I think that if Joan gets ready to compete again right now and cuts down again, he won't come out weighing 140 kilos or 135 or 130. That would be a huge achievement, I hope so, honestly. If he came out to compete about 5 kilos heavier this season, that would be crazy. I mean, that would be a lot of weight gained. But not the 30 kilos he's put on. And here's my question. Is it worth it to put on so much weight with such serious consequences for your day-to-day life and your life overall just to keep, I don't know, about 5 kilos of muscle? And I'm saying this because Joan has previously weighed 140 kilos during bulking, only to step on stage at 115. And then it's harder for them to get rid of that excess fat. It's harder for them to get lean and achieve good conditioning and come in really defined. I see other bodybuilders who, maintain a lower body fat percentage throughout the year, or at least not as high if you prefer, which in the end is healthier. I think bulking up that much, which is true that some bodybuilders do, isn't the most beneficial. I think Regan Grimes is an example, Blessing Abodibo is an example, even Samson Dauda is an example. Joan is someone we've already seen looks incredible when bulking, but then when he cuts, he shrinks a lot, he loses a lot. It's like he gains a lot very quickly, but then he loses it quickly too. I hope it doesn't happen this time and he qualifies for the Olympia this year. In this pose, his back looks pretty good, but his shoulders are still extremely dominant and his back still looks a bit flat. The legs from the back still look spectacular, but the hamstrings don't seem to be at the level of those huge quadriceps and adductors. From the front, he looks pretty good. For his weight, his waist isn't bad. I have to say that his chest looks much fuller, but his shoulders still steal the spotlight in the poses. I think there has been some improvement, but not as much as it seems. People are already getting excited like he's going to be the next Goldman. Calm down, fanboys. In conclusion, Joan has improved because he does a lot of things well, and despite his training, I think for the next competition he will have gained at least 3, 4, maybe even 5 kilos. But definitely not the extra 30 kilos he's carrying this off-season. I don't know how he's going to lose all that. But it's not going to be that easy. And I do think that this year could be the year he qualifies for Mr. Olympia. I've said this before, but if he had gone to Detroit, I think I could have done something. Andrew, Samson, Hadi, Martin, Brandon, all of them are already qualified, so they're not going to take Joan's spot. In the competitions left this year, we know that Walker, Crizo, Tony O'Burton, Goodbito might compete. Is he going to have to face them? Let's discuss other Olympia contenders and the 78 criteria. Even men who aren't Olympia contenders can qualify. If he picks the right pro show and several compete, he has a shot. If he's lucky, he'll make it. Just look at those who qualify for the Olympia. Andrea Presti, Akin Williams, Blessing Abodibu himself, Hassan Mostafa has also gone to the Olympia. And several others like that, so I see them and I say, wow, if Joan goes up against them, I honestly think he can win. Like I said, I think this year Joan is going to make it to the Olympia and make history for Spain. I hope so. Let's not get too carried away with his updates and his off-season, okay? Let's go with Pablo Llopis, who has also been posting several things, but here we have a big difference with Joan. They are two very different bodybuilders. He has posted these physique updates where he weighs 130 kilos, but of course he's shorter than Joan. I don't know how much shorter, but about 34 centimeters, something like that. He weighs 15 kilos less than Joan, so maybe he doesn't seem as imposing or big, right? I also think that Pablo's genetics aren't as gifted. He has some strong poses. I really like his side poses. Even some of his front poses are cool, but it's true that his clavicle width really hurts him a lot. In the back poses, he actually looks pretty narrow. He's more defined than Joan, that's for sure. He's not as soft, but he's also not that defined. I think if Joan were at Pablo Llopis' body fat percentage, he'd weigh about 140 or 135, something like that. Pablo's midsection, está muy bien, está bastante controlada, está marcada. The legs too, the quadriceps are pretty good, and he has tremendous shoulders. But it's true that genetics aren't on his side, and even though he's working hard on it, he's been working on it for years, and it's hard to change. Whenever he competes, he comes out, hey, chiseled. He comes out very dry, dense, vascular, but unfortunately, that shape affects him too much. I think that this year, if he chooses the right pro show, Pablo Llopis could also qualify for the Olympia, but I see it as more difficult for Pablo to qualify than for Joan. Come on, I see it easier for Joan to qualify, but for Pablo, I'm sorry. I see it as more difficult. I don't see it as impossible. I think it could happen, but I see it as unlikely. That's what I mean. In the last season, he was getting second and third places, in my opinion, in some of those competitions, without being at 100%. If he comes in at 100% in any competition this year, I think he can qualify for the Olympia. But that's the thing, it's all about which one you choose, the luck you have, who you're going to go up against. It's not the same if Hassan Mostafa shows up as if Nick Walker shows up. Well, let's see, it will all depend on that. Who do you guys see qualifying for the Olympia first? Honestly, I see Joan first, then Pablo Llopis. What do you think of Joan's off-season? I find it excessive and doubt he'll keep much of the weight gained. I'll read your comments. This is Ares YT Culturismo signing off. See you next video.